Here now is former NYPD Commissioner Bernie Kerik and Dan Bongino, former NYPD officer and Fox News contributor. Bernard, the SWAT team situation in Philadelphia, it's a row home. And, there's not a lot of entrances. There's just, windows in the front. That's pretty much about it, maybe a few in the back. How does a SWAT team tactically go up in there, the second story, third story, and manage to rescue multiple individuals while on the first floor you have a gunman with an AR-15 and multiple handguns?
Well, keep in mind, just before they get in there, they're going to talk to the people that were already in the building. The narcotics guys, before they do a search warrant like that, they'll have a tactical plan, a layout of where they did buys, what the building looked like. They have some basic ideas. And then there'll be other intelligence that they gather. They'll set up cameras. They put pinhole cameras up there. There's a bunch of stuff. They may put up a drone to get a look in the windows. There's a bunch of stuff they can do to give them insight to get up into the building. And I can tell you, the Philadelphia SWAT team is one of the best probably in the Northeast. And the bottom line, here's the reality. That guy's walking out or he's coming out on a gurney. One or the other.
Yeah, because, Dan, I imagine now that the hostages have been removed from the home, they have now one individual that's gone from a hostage situation to a barricaded cop shooter situation. Time's running out for him. He's got literally no options now left. I would think that the police would be at a huge tactical advantage at this point and can kind of choose their spot accordingly.
Yeah, you're right. And physiologically, eventually the perp is going to need to sleep. Obviously, I don't care how much drugs he has in his system or in the apartment. You're not going to be able to stay up all night. Eventually, the body's going to shut down. And Jesse, you remember, the police officers can change shifts.
Right.
The bad guy can't. He's in there by himself. It's only him right now. Now, adding on to what Bernie said, he's right. The police officers, before they do these raids, try to do their best to get a layout of what a similar type apartment may look like. They're never really going in blind. But on the downside, the perp definitely has some kind of mastery of the terrain features. He's in the building right now. So he's obviously going to know better what the inside of the building looks like. And the problem there is you run into things called fatal funnels. In other words, when the officers come in, there's usually only one way to enter an apartment where the bad guy can obviously funnel his attention, if you understand what I mean. The police officers don't have that luxury. And it just goes to show you again, Jesse, I mean, not that we can't say it enough on the network, how brave these guys and women really are. They know exactly what they're walking into when they walk in there. Make no mistake.
So we don't know if this guy is intoxicated. We obviously know he's scared. He's got the adrenaline pumping. He's got a lot of rounds, apparently, because he's already fired off about 100. He's had his girlfriend on the line at some point. He's had his attorney trying to help negotiate this thing down at this point. What's the negotiating strategy at this point with law enforcement? Because right now, it's really just a negotiation.
You know what, Jess? Most of the negotiations will be based around family, kids, girlfriends, friends. The attorney's a big one because the attorney's he's going to be the one that gets them to walk out. He's going to be the one that tells them, look, they're not going to hurt you. He's going to be the one that says, it's not as bad as you think. Bottom line is, it's bad. It's attempted murder of 6 cops. But bottom line, it's the cops have all night. They have all night, they have all day tomorrow. He has to go to sleep. He has to shut down. He will shut down. And they'll pick their time.
Right. And, this all goes back not to guns, in my opinion, Dan. This is about narcotics. This is about cartels sending massive quantities of narcotics into North Philadelphia, whether it's PCP or heroin, crack cocaine, opioids. They flood this region. They give it to the gang leaders who then distribute it in the neighborhood and then can run it up and down the East Coast corridors. And they have to have these weapons to protect the product. To blame this on guns, like this guy with the AR, the handgun, didn't go through a background check, is crazy.
Yeah.
And I think everybody needs to focus on what the real issue here is.
Yeah, I mean, can I just throw a tip out there for the Democratic presidential candidates? Maybe shut your pie holes for about 5 minutes and let the cops. No, I'm dead serious. Let the cops on the ground Like, get this guy, this maniac, out of the building, and let's get the cops out of the hospital before we start tweeting about our next brilliant gun control plan that, by the way, this criminal, as you just accurately stated, couldn't give a rat's ass about. I'm pretty sure this guy doesn't care about your latest background check proposal. So can we all just like focus on the cops and the tactics now, getting people out of there safely? And by the way, the residents, Jesse,
right.
There are still people who live around there. Before we're tweeting our stupid electoral plans to catch another caucus vote in Iowa, I mean, how insensitive, right? Not unbelievable, very believable, but unbelievably insensitive.
Yeah, Kamala Harris was, I believe, on another network as this shooting was unfolding, as police officers were being rushed to the hospital to get their wounds healed. And first thing out of her mouth was political, and it was about gun control. Let's listen to that, and then, Bernie, you can react.
What's your reaction to these initial reports? And I stress the word initial reports.
Well, it's just, when will it stop, right? I mean, part of my focus on what we need to do around smart gun safety laws is recognize that we have to have more enforcement around gun dealers.
Just didn't really strike the right tone there.
You know,
did
when
she?
she did that, I sent out a tweet. They don't give a damn about those cops. It's all about politics for her and the other Democrats. It's all about politics. The bottom line is that's reckless. It's irresponsible. Shouldn't have happened. Shouldn't happen in the future. But it will continue to happen because that's all they care about.
Yeah, and Dan, I believe Cory Booker, also running for president, said something on MSNBC. Let's listen to that.
I've seen some of the most courageous officers when I was mayor run into buildings where they have no situational awareness, encounter weapons that have no business being on our streets in the hands of people who would never have been able to get them if we had the most common sense background checks. So often the voices you hear calling for the kind of gun safety that I put in sort of my very bold plan are police officers wanting it to happen because their lives are getting increasingly dangerous.
Yeah, Dan, I don't know about that, but I do know this. Whenever there's a terrorist attack in this country, the Democrats say, hey, pump the brakes. Don't say anything. Don't rush to judgment. Let's let the facts come in. We don't know what motivated this, who was involved in this. But, I mean, as people are being taken to the hospital, they're already pushing a political agenda here and making all sorts of wild assumptions.
Jesse, we have an armed gunman with cover and concealment in a location now who just tried to kill upwards of 30 or 40 cops and injured 6 of them, possibly more. You know, sadly, the time period between the hot zone breakout where the incident happens and the political stupidity, it went from about 48 hours a decade ago to about 48 seconds now. I mean, these are some of the most grossly insensitive comments. You have spouses, Jesse, of these officers, men and women. You have fathers and brothers whose friends, fathers, brothers, kids are at that scene right now with an armed gunman, and you're on other networks talking about your new policy prescriptions for... I mean, how dense? Your skull has to be like 6 feet thick to put that out there right now. But this is why I said, you know, I tweeted out tonight, everybody just shut your pie holes for a minute and let the people who work for a living, the cops, not the politicians, you guys and ladies don't work for, that's not a real job, okay? Let the cops who actually work for a living, like Bernie and I did once, let them do their jobs. Just shut up. Nobody ever got in trouble, Jesse, I'm sorry, I'm really pissed off right now. Nobody ever got in trouble for shutting the hell up. Just be quiet. Nobody needs to hear from you right now. Cory Booker's not the tactical commander on the scene. This guy doesn't know squat. He doesn't know a damn thing about policing. Just shut up. Let the cops figure it out. There'll be a time to argue gun control or whatever you think gun control means in a day or two. Just shut up. Give it the 24-hour rule. What's the problem?
It's all right. You can call me Jenny. I don't mind, Dan. Bernie,
I'm really upset. I'm sorry, buddy.
Understand.
You know I love you.
I know. You were saying that Booker contradicted himself,
He
too.
contradicted himself. He's talking about the weapons, and a good background check would have stopped it. No, dude, they're criminals. They can't do background checks. They can't get that gun. He's a moron.
Yes, thank you.
So, you know, I was talking earlier about just the North Philadelphia region, and this actual neighborhood in this section of North Philadelphia is the worst neighborhood in the entire city of Philadelphia. It's got the highest crime rate, most amount of drugs, most amount of poverty, and North Philadelphia was not always like this. in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and even the early 70s, there were a lot of jobs there because they had U.S. Steel, they had auto manufacturing, they had shipping, they had packaging, they had good, solid jobs. And all of a sudden, the politicians let these jobs float overseas, and then there's no way to make money anymore except sell drugs and then murder anybody that gets in your way. That's what happens when you wreck these cities. You got huge spikes in homicide. Philadelphia last year had the highest homicide rate in the last 10 years. And this year, in August, right now, they're already on record to beat that. So something has to be done to get a hold on these cities, Dan, because whatever's happening right now is not working.
Well, Jesse, you're my fellow panelist here. Bernie knows better than anyone. Bernie, what happened with Giuliani and broken windows? Bernie was the commissioner. He knows exactly what happened. They brought in these police commanders. Bernie was, listen, I was a cop. I worked there. They brought in police commanders and said, hey, listen, what's going on in your corner over there? Nothing, just some low-level drug dealing. And what did Bernie, the first deputy commissioner, and others say? You know what, we're not too comfortable with that. You're going to clean that up. Jesse, I'm telling you, these police commanders were shocked. They were used to running their own little fiefdoms. CompStat and broken windows changed that. What I'm trying to get at is the solutions are out there. Good law and order, quality policing, where mayors and political leaders, who are usually clueless because they don't have real jobs, they can actually support the cops, unlike they do now. Let the cops do their job. Let people like Bernie and others who understand CompStat, computer statistics, and broken windows, and they'll clean up the city just like Giuliani, Bernie, and Bratton did in New York. It wasn't some mystery what happened. They just got the low-level people off the street, and the low-level people couldn't commit the bigger crimes later. It's not a mystery.